Beaming all around the world from the East Coast to the United States, this is the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Celebrity Talk Show Series. Our special guests, ALBA Musik. Yes, Barbara and Albert are going to be here in just a second. The extraordinary, sensational, much talked about flamenco fusion duo, and they're even going to perform for us live. Hey, everybody, this is your host, Jim Masters. We're here in the New York area, tri-state area of the United States, and we have lots of great music, but also great conversation coming up for you as we introduce this incredible group to you, as they also have a brand new album called Dawn, which in Spanish means Alba. It also plays off their two names, Albert and Barbara, and we're so excited to have them here. Albert is in the New York City area right now, and Barbara is in Greece, where it's about 11 p.m. right now. And we're so excited to be able to have them here together on the show. They're excited about their new album and all the performances that they have coming up. So this is going to be really cool. If you love fantastic flamenco music and dance and incredible guitar musicianship, this is the group for you, this amazing duo that we're going to be spotlighting here on the show. And again, they travel all over. They do incredible performances, and so many people have fallen in love with them. And their debut album, again, just coming out, which is so exciting, filled with incredible sounds of incredible rhythms, and you're going to love it. You're going to absolutely love it. Of course, Bárbara Martínez is an extraordinary an incredible flamenco singer, dancer, vocalist extraordinaire. And Albert, Alabedra, he is a fantastic guitarist as well as musician, composer, and so much more. And we're excited to have them both here. They make up the duo. Now, there they are. There's Barbara on the left. There's Albert on the right, and there is the new album we're showing on the screen as well, which is really, really cool. Look for that. You can get it, of course, at all the places, Amazon and all the great places where you can get music. We'll tell you more how you can get the music too. I do want to tell you just a little bit about our incredible duo that's joining us again from Europe and from the United States right now. ALBA Musik, led by powerhouse vocalist Bárbara Martínez and talented guitarist Albert Alabedra, combines flamenco and Latin music with Latin, pop, funk, blues, salsa, and world music. Now, written during the pandemic, their debut album Dawn weaves personal stories with universal themes of family, prayer, rediscovering joy, and finding happiness and beauty in sunflowers and animals. The album features an impressive lineup of multicultural artists, including Rolling Stones saxophonist Tim Rees and Kenema's Jocelyn Vargas, Kenema Pata Negra Rosario, producer Arturo Soriano, the virtuosic kora player Yakuba Cisco, and we're talking drum player Baba Musa, and two-time Grammy-nominated pianist Gonzalo Grau. Sin Fronteras is now available to stream on all major music platforms. And again, they just had a fantastic release back just a couple of days ago of the album Dawn. And there's a music video that's attached to it and so much more. A little bit about Barbara. Performer extraordinaire with music and dance flowing through her veins, born and raised in New York City. Again, she's coming to us from Greece today. Her passion for the arts was sparked at an early age. She hails from a legendary family of performers as well. And for over 2 decades, she has dazzled audiences as a dancer and a singer, collaborating with a range of flamenco dance companies and world music ensembles. Her talent even landed her a spot at the Metropolitan Opera, where she both danced and sang as a child. She has graced the stages of top-tier venues like Carnegie Hall and Madison Square Garden and New York City's Town Hall, of course, captivating audience with her magnetic performances. In addition, Barbara is an honors graduate of Brown University and currently pursuing the master's at Berklee College of Music in Boston. She's also an accomplished teacher, sharing her love of music with students at the prestigious Ethical Culture Fieldston School. With her impressive resume and boundless talent, Barbara truly is a force to be reckoned with. And that's just the short list, folks. And now Albert's musical journey is a thrilling fusion of dance influences. Growing up in cosmopolitan Barcelona, he was immersed in global sounds, including the vibrant rhythms of rumba Catalina. And also, he then received formal training in classical and electric guitar and expanded his repertoire with the addition of jazz and flamenco. Throughout his career, Albert has rocked audiences with his versatile repertoire, performing with pop, rock, jazz, funk, acoustic, and flamenco bands in both Spain and New York. He has also, throughout his career, just enjoyed every second of what he's doing. And he's also teamed up with the Grammy-nominated saxophonist and composer Melissa Aldana, who made history as the first female artist to win the prestigious Monk Prize. We'll talk about that, the Thelonious Monk Prize. And together they recorded an album that is nothing short of electrifying. This is so cool, isn't it? So again, as I mentioned, they are coming to us from Greece and from New York City. I encourage you, if they are coming to your area, get your tickets, get there, see them. You're going to love it. You're going to feel good. If you're having a bad day, their music makes you feel so good. And they perform in a lot of different venues and all over. And they were just telling me about a concert that's going to be coming up in Connecticut as well. And they complement each other so beautifully as well. There's the new album. We showed it on a full screen, but there it is. Look for this. Again, you can get this at Amazon and all the places where you get great music. It's filled. I got a chance to preview it, and it is filled with extraordinary sounds, folks, that you're going to absolutely love. So without further ado, we welcome everybody watching from all around the world. If this is your first time joining us, I'm your host, Jim Masters. If you want to comment during the show, you can certainly do that in the Lovely Hall chat room. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. It doesn't cost anything, and you can comment, say hello. I see a bunch of comments already built up from our viewers, and that is so cool. So nice to have everybody here. All right, without further ado, let's welcome from Greece, Bárbara Martínez is here. Bárbara, welcome to the show. And Albert is joining us from the New York area. Albert, welcome to the show. How are you?
How are you?
It's 11 o'clock where you are, right, Bárbara?
Yeah.
So you already had your supper. You're good to go.
I ran.
And where you are, yes. Yeah, is that where you are? Oh, that's very, very nice. What brings you to Greece right now, Bárbara?
There is, thanks to the fabulous and extraordinary Maria Manosaki, a very talented violinist from Crete, the island of Crete in Greece. She was just for the Frequent World Music Festival that she basically directs and curates every summer.
I think your mic might be a little loose because your sound is going in and out. It's clear, and then it's muffled, and then it's clear. So it could be that.
Let's try this.
Yeah.
Is this better?
Oh, 10 times better. Absolutely.
Let's try. Okay.
So you're in Greece, you said, for
the Cretan World Music Festival that we just wrapped in Crete, the island of Crete.
Beautiful.
Directed by the amazing, lovely talent that is the Maria Manosaki, violinist from that island. This year, she dedicated the festival to women in world music and world jazz. So there were quite a few of us leading our groups throughout the week, and it was super fun.
That is so terrific. How long are you there for?
I'm here until the 1st of August.
Oh, very nice. That's terrific. That's awesome. And Albert, you are outdoors in the beautiful garden setting there. It's good to see you as well in the New York area, my friend. Welcome, Albert. How are you doing?
How are you doing? All good. Yeah. Kind of hot here, and I'm surrounded by mosquitoes.
You are? Oh, is that why you're doing that?
Yeah. You see me doing this is because I don't want them to kill me.
Biting you. Right. That is it. I tell you, it is a little humid right now. And you guys had some rain earlier, so probably in the New York area, so it made it a little, muggy. How did you guys form? Tell us about ALBA Musik. Congratulations on, you know, the incredible music that you have been knocking out of the park for everybody. Congratulations as well on the new debut album, which is it just came out a couple of days ago, and people are already talking about it. And I've had a preview of it, and it's absolutely spectacular. How did you guys team up and form?
Wow. Al and I have been essentially working together on and off through the years, probably back to about 10 years ago, Al.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even more, maybe.
Maybe more.
Well, no, yeah, around 10, yeah.
Around 10 years. And we've just been, you know, doing random gigs really together over this stretch of time. You know, a lot centered on flamenco and more like popular commercial music that's, you know, either from Spain or from Latin America in Spanish. Albert is a very talented virtuoso guitarist, so I don't know if you've heard him carefully and closely.
Thank you.
But he's you know, he also, I feel he brings up a lot of his sensibility as a person through his music, and so it's always been really fun working with him. And it wasn't really until last year that we reconnected and that we even considered this idea of writing some music together. But it's like we haven't stopped ever since. And literally the songs that are in the album in Dawn were composed in May of last year. And already in June, we were releasing the full album this year. So that's got to be a record of sorts.
Yeah, you pumped it out really quickly, which is incredible. I love the artwork on the album as well. Tell us about the illustration, the artwork on the cover. It's fantastic.
Yes, that is the amazingly talented Germán Pérez. He is an artist and musician hailing from Dominican Republic and installed in the great New York City for quite a long time. And he's a very old friend of mine. In fact, the artwork that is part of, it's sort of an ongoing presence as part of the ALBA experiences is it's a real important piece of the whole kind of pie, I would say. Many of our friends, you know, we have a sort of a community of friendships of, you know, between Alan and myself, of people who have, you know, friends that we've collected, you know, and today, yeah. Anyway, so musician friends who are also talented visual artists in some cases who, you know, we've had involved in either the single releases for some of the songs that we first released as singles, like our friend bassist Sean Kupich, who did the watercolor artwork for the Girasoles, the song about sunflowers, and also Clemente Ettrick, who did the artwork. I'm sure if it's, or, you know, it kind of goes on. And I think part of the visual aspect of ALBA Musik is maybe just as important as the oral sort of phase.
Yes. What do you guys think? Did you want to add to that, Albert, what she just said as well?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, she made a really good explanation of everything. Yeah.
What is it about this style of music, this genre, that speaks to both of you, where you want to share it with the world and celebrate this iconic sound?
I mean, I would say that the root of our music is flamenco. So it's the music that originates in Spain, right? But then we all had a lot of different influences besides flamenco. So I think ALBA Musik, the flamenco root is always there, but then we fuse it with a lot of other styles that we also like. I mean, and Barbara's roots are from Venezuela, so you can definitely hear all the Latin American roots. I would say we both like jazz music, we both like funk. That's why in our songs, yeah, the first thing that people would identify is the flamenco, but then they would be like, oh wow, but this part sounded a little bit bluesy, or that part sounded a little bit funk, or that
Yeah.
part sounded a little bit like, I don't know, like Johnny Mitchell, or that part sounded like, you know, so
James Taylor.
James
yeah,
Taylor. Yeah. Some
yeah,
Americana in there as well, right?
yeah. I always tell Barbara that she, besides being an amazing flamenco singer, she can sing any style that she wants. So that's why you feel all these influences in there too.
Which is a terrific. So it's a wonderful blending of sounds when people
Yeah,
come to see you guys perform, right?
exactly. Yeah.
What was it like working on this debut album? That's always a big, exciting process. And one of the hardest things is narrowing down, the songs. You can only fit so many on CDs and offer a certain amount. And you start with like 25, but then you got to get it down to a certain amount. How did you work on that? It's in terms of putting the actual CD together and knowing what songs to include on it.
It was
I mean,
tough.
if anything, it is tough. Plus, the music is keeping on going, and it's like flowing from us. We're very inspired by what we've created and by the impact that it's had in the people that were, the family, the ALBA family. So at least I am. And so it wasn't so much that we had to stop and try to reduce the tracks for this album. It was more like, again, going back to the reality check, that in a 12-month span of time, we had composed these songs, arranged them, produced them, recorded all the different parts then that came later from long distance recordings that people added, in various different countries.
Yeah.
And so if anything, it was more like, let's get this out as soon as we can. If we think that this is something that that we can stand behind and feel good about, and if it's no need to release it if it's not. But it was more like a momentum. Sometimes with creative arts, I think that if you have the luxury to respect the momentum that you've created, that's something that you shouldn't dismiss. That you should really roll with that, because it's not really every day that you have that, and that means that there's something that you need to share with people, that people are going to benefit from.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's what I would.
Yeah. Let's, Barbara, you come from a legendary musical family. Tell us about the incredible background that you hail from.
Jim, for a long time, I didn't bring this up when talking about what I do with music, because I felt a little bit like, well, that's a difficult act to follow. And why build up this expectation only to disappoint people if I'm not, like my great aunt, who was a very iconic tango singer and actress. Her name was Libertad Lamarque. And so for people of, let's say, like my grandmother's generation and up, even our parents, let's say people from 60s, 70s, 80s year old and up, everyone, if they're from Latin America, it's rare if they don't know who she was. She made a lot of movies. She recorded a record number of albums for a female in her time who dedicated herself to tango originally. So, this is the musical heritage handed down to me. Morenita Rey, and she was also a tango singer and actress. Did a little more theater than film, but also did film. And she passed very young, so she was a little less known. But she also had a very, very long career for the 36 years that she was on this planet. So I grew up listening to her vinyls and obsessing over how someone can be so expressive with their voice, like expressive of something real that really happened to them. That this was definitely somebody I studied this from. And they were from Argentina, of course. They were from Rosario, Argentina, moved into Buenos Aires area.
It's so great that you're acknowledging and celebrating them. Like you said, didn't necessarily always bring them up. They weren't, top of mind in conversations, but then realizing, wow, some of the lineage, the apple does not fall far from the tree, right? And that lineage is extraordinary to celebrate. How about you, Albert? Tell us about some of your inspirations and background and how you first growing up in beautiful Barcelona, which everybody loves, how all of that influenced and your family influenced you to go into music.
Just let me say something related to that. Actually, I mean, I've been working with Bárbara for like 10 years, and I just knew about this Libertad Lamarque like maybe last year. She never mentioned, so...
Didn't mention it, yeah. Yeah, she kept it under the radar.
So, yeah, I grew up in Barcelona, and Barcelona is very, as you describe it, is very cosmopolitan. It's a very multicultural city with lots of... And historically, too, because it's been always, and Spain and flamenco, it's been a history for centuries of all kind of influences, all kind of people in the Iberian Peninsula. So, yeah, I grew up. I mean, my flamenco passion comes from my mother's side and my grandparents, because they were from Andalusia. And when I was young, every time I would go to my grandparents' house, every weekend, I would be always listening to flamenco. So since I was young.
Yeah.
So that was always on me.
Right.
And then obviously my parents, for example, my other grandparents' side, they loved jazz. They would have a collection. My grandfather in the 60s, during the dictatorship in Spain, he would travel to London. And he would bring the vinyls from London to Spain, because in Spain, a lot of these vinyls, it wouldn't be, you couldn't find it in there during the 60s, for example. So, yeah, I remember growing up listening to lots of flamenco and lots of jazz. And then my dad, he loved the Beatles. He loved the Rolling Stones. So it was always like all kind of music in the house.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And you guys have had a chance to work with some extraordinary other performers and musicians as well, right? Over time, Grammy nominated, Grammy winning, incredible folks. Tell us about some of that additional collaboration that's happened for you.
Yeah. Speaking of the Rolling Stones, we do have a friend who is very, very, very talented, a source of huge inspiration to me personally, musically, who is the saxophonist of the Rolling Stones. His name is Tim Reese, and he actually does a lot of, he has worked with the Rolling Stones for decades now, but the reason why I know him is because of his relationship with jazz and working in New York City, and actually for his love of flamenco. And I would say music that is connected somehow to flamenco, be it through different gypsy communities, Eastern Europe. He really spends quite a lot of time listening to flamenco and appreciating flamenco, like traditional flamenco. And it's been many years in the making. So yes, he plays on our song Te Oro, which was one of our first releases, single releases. And he blew that horn and made it sound extra funky.
That's incredible, huh?
Yeah.
You know, when you get a chance to work with others who really have a passion for what they do, it's quite extraordinary, isn't it? You sort of feed off the energy of each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got really lucky also because another really important part in ALBA Music is our producer, which is Bob DiGiacomo. He's our bass player, but he's also the producer. And he's a super important part of the sound that we have, of the mixing. So he's always behind the cameras, but he needs to be credited for the amazing job that he always does. And he's an amazing multi-instrumentalist. He can play anything like a virtuoso. So, and he has a knowledge of the Pro Tools and Logic, all this important software to make the album possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
That this is really important.
Do you guys have I know you like getting out there and performing and being on stage and amongst the fans. Do you have a collective or individual preference of some people like just being in the studio versus being on stage, and others love the energy of the crowd and feed off the energy that's presented as they're doing their thing? You guys have a preference, or you enjoy it all?
Can you tell that we're having fun in that live performance?
I think so.
I mean,
that particular one was like pretty magical.
Yeah, you can tell.
That was
in
Boston, and this is the City Vineyard in New York City. There's Bob DiGiacomo right there, our bassist too and producer. Yeah,
that's perfect.
This is like the center core of ALBA Music right there. The three of us. I mean, we should really call it ALBA Bo. ALBA Bo.
ALBA
Bob.
So you like both studio and you really like being on stage then, right? You like the performances, being amongst everybody.
Yeah.
I'm
so glad that you asked that, Jim, because I've been in my case, I've been doing music, like you were reading my bio, and and I have literally been working since I was like 10 years old.
And that was just the short version of the bio too, right? For both of you.
Oh God. Yeah. But I've spent basically a lifetime already. I feel like I know nothing, but I actually have spent my life doing this. And, I've spent most of that time performing live. So the big bulk of what my experience lies in is being like sweating and struggling with the sound and trying to connect with the people who came to see the show. Just they don't care about the sound, they just want to see you perform, and you have this duty in a way to of course it's your job, but you have this duty to make that moment like real in some palpable way for a complete group of strangers. And so my life has developed basically in that kind of a context. So, and yet I always felt recording was always something that I feel like I don't even want to think about that, because that's such a different, you're right when you say, there are people who sort of musicians tend to fall into maybe three categories: recording musicians, live performing musicians, and I would also say teacher musicians. It can be that you like all three. I like all three, but I felt a little bit intimidated by the idea of recording because, I sort of got lost in the thought, stuck in the thought of thinking, but that's going to be permanent. I like the fact that when I perform this song, whatever song, every time it's going to be different. And I live for that. Yeah. But then when you record something, you have to commit to that way that you sang it or that you interpreted that moment. And, but it turns out that when you working with people who you trust and who you also respect musically, you know, you can create something special that could only have been created by recording it and by taking time to add this or take away that, you know. So it's just a different way to share music.
Exactly right, and that's a beautiful way to respond to that question, because it really encompasses all of it. You're enjoying the ride. You're enjoying every aspect that, you know, comes your way, which I think is fantastic. And you mentioned the teaching part, because you are an accomplished teacher. You teach others, right?
Yeah, I don't feel accomplished, but I can say that you know, I do spend a lot of time working, sharing the joy of music with kids,
Yeah,
from 4 years old to 11. And it's not hard to share my joy of music in any way. And
exactly.
thankfully music has so many different aspects, so you can focus on, you know, on so many parts. Moving is music too.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you
because
know,
you're
and
a
I spend a lot
dancer
of
as
time with
much.
this too.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You're an incredible dancer. How about you, Albert?
And Al teaches a
Yeah,
lot.
and
Yeah,
Al teaches as
it's true.
well. And do you
Yeah,
have a preference of studio versus stage and any of that, Al?
I really enjoy the studio part. I have to say that I really enjoy it.
The creative process of putting it all together.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, my favorite part is performing for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, if I could just be performing every night for the rest of my life, yeah, I take it.
How,
So,
when people come to one of your fabulous concert events, what is it like? What can they expect? You know, a lot of times people have this thought of what something's going to be like, but they don't taste it until they're there and they experience it. What is the experience of coming to see ALBA Music doing their thing like?
I always think, let me tell you something. So, when I'm performing, right, and Barbara is singing with this amazing voice that she has, sometimes I'm thinking like, wow, if I wasn't performing and I was at the audience, I would be like really enjoying this performance,
Her
right?
voice, right?
So sometimes I like to think that in the same way, I'm a professional musician. I appreciate good music. Uh, I guess people enjoy it a lot too, in the same way that I would do. So I think when people come to our shows, sometimes it's people that they heard like, oh, it's a flamenco concert, or they don't know exactly what to expect, so they just go. And I have to say, it's always a blast. Our concerts are always amazing. We didn't do a single concert that we went home like thinking, oh, that was okay. No, it's always amazing.
It's 110%, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, people get their
yeah.
money's worth. Yeah, which is really fantastic.
So, you know, Jim, how we started doing these songs? Let me tell you something. For example, this Te Oro song that Barbara mentioned, that the one that we have Tim Reese, that was actually, yeah, you said last May or last June, last year. So I first composed the chords, the structure of the song. So I show it to Barbara, and I think I gave you first like a shitty recording on my phone, right? Like I sent you the audio just with the chords, right? And then we are having a concert in a hotel in Greenpoint in New York, and she tells me like, hey, let me show you, I wrote a little bit of the lyrics and I have some melody. So I start playing the chords, she starts singing, and everyone in the audience starts dancing, right? And I'm playing like, oh my God, that's amazing. Like people
I
are
remember there was this older couple, like I think they were, I mean, I say older, I don't know, I think maybe in their like late 70s, like, you know.
yeah. Or 80s. Yeah.
And they were dancing, but like really dancing together.
Really dancing. So that
They
was
were They were all of a
They're
sudden
getting
20
down.
years old again. It
Yes,
sort
it
of
just
brought it
something
back for
happened to
them.
them.
Yes, right?
So that was the first
Yeah.
song that we did, and from that, as she said, we just didn't stop making songs and songs. And actually, we already have like the second album. We have like 7, 8 new songs ready to be recorded.
Do you really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's
We
incredible.
actually we started. So it's funny. Like 2 or 3 weeks ago, we are playing a festival in Berryville, in the border between New York and Pennsylvania. I'm sure you know this area, the beautiful Delaware Water Gap.
Yes, right.
So at night, when we finished the concert, we went partying. It was like a good party at night. So well, we having cocktails, really amazing cocktails in the area.
Look at Barbara's reaction. She says, I think I remember that.
So
You don't have any photos, do you?
but the funny story is that we get back to the Airbnb at night. It was like 2 or 3 a.m. So, and when I'm really excited after the gig, like I told you, everybody loved it. I'm super excited. It's like
You pumped up, yeah.
I have like high energy. It's 2 or 3
Sure.
a.m., but I don't want to go to sleep.
Can't go to sleep because you're too high from it, right?
Yeah.
So we went to the room and I told Barbara, look, I got some new songs, right? So I just jammed a little bit. And it was a really funny situation because we had a dancer with us, Adriana. She was like really tired, lying on the floor, clapping. So almost falling asleep. She was making claps. So it was really funny.
That is funny.
So Barbara, you recorded all the session with your phone.
I record everything with my phone. If it weren't for that phone, I don't know where it would be.
So to be honest, I knew this is gonna be a song, but I didn't have a clear structure. So I was just showing her, okay, this could be a song. So a few days later, she tells me like, I got lyrics for this song, for that one, for the other one. And I'm like, what? So it's because she recorded the jamming at the room. And then I had to listen exactly, like I don't remember what I did. So so she had to send me the recording so I can know exactly.
So you could relearn your creation.
Yeah, I can relearn what I was jamming. So
Yeah.
so these are gonna be the new songs that I told you. That is gonna be the coming album.
That is so fantastic. That is exciting. What a way for it all to come together, too, huh?
Yeah.
Sometimes you get these inspirations that can come out of nowhere, and and like you say, you record everything on the phone. We had she's a wonderful friend of the show, Melissa Manchester, the iconic singer, was on twice, and during one of the fabulous conversations we had with her, we talked about the songwriting process and what inspires her. And she said, Jim, sometimes she could be, laying down and sort of in and out of sleep, and all of a sudden something will hit her. She could be walking across the living room. She could be, in a supermarket, whatever it may be. But if it happens like at home and she gets inspired, she literally says she has to go right to the piano. She has to press record on the recorder. And whatever flows out of her in terms of that inspiration, she records it and she plays it out immediately on the piano so it doesn't dissipate, it doesn't fade away, it doesn't weaken when she gets these bolts of inspiration that come out of anywhere. Is that what do you guys do that too? When you get an inspiration anywhere at any time for something, you sort of try to capture it and work it out and save it so you can go back to it and work on it? It's important to do that, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's
Definitely.
also interesting. It becomes a skill that you develop to be able to recognize that there is something. You have to pause there and just go right away and just get that little idea at least recorded so that it doesn't escape. Because it's like sometimes like when you have a dream and then you wake up and you're like, oh, what an amazing dream. and then so you're trying to describe the dream to somebody. You're like, wait, I thought I was in this place, but like, actually, I don't really remember.
I don't know.
So, you've got to catch it like right when you wake up. Like those dreams, you should have a piece of paper next to your bed and write those down if you're the kind of person who wants to remember them. Otherwise, you think you remember them, but you don't quite have it.
It gets blurry after a while, doesn't it? And it could have been a really good dream, like fabulous things were happening, and all of a sudden it's just dissipates and you can't even get it out. Like, I remember you were in the dream, but I don't remember why. that kind of thing. This is so ALBA, we had mentioned, is dawn in Spanish, right? And that again is apropos for the title of the album, but also a blending of the first two letters of your first names, right? How perfect that is.
Right. That was Albert's idea.
And you never have
now
any.
We had Alma.
Yes. Now you never have anybody.
So we have Alba.
You never have anybody not hear the L in ALBA and say, "Oh, ABBA, do Dancing Queen." Right?
Actually,
that's right.
Happened. I don't think
that has happened. No, yeah.
Why not? We can do Dancing Queen.
Dancing Queen in flamenco style, right? That would be cool. What?
Yeah.
So, do you get to like you're in Greece now for the events, and of course you're in the New York area, Albert? Do you travel across the country with ALBA Musik? Do you get to go to Europe and other places, or is that what you're developing doing?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have time
yet.
That is
definitely what we're developing.
Yeah, the project is actually 1 year old, so
it's still sort of happening, right?
Yeah, it just
right.
happened.
But now that we have the album, actually, we were focusing our energy on getting the album, out there. And then also having the release, which was such a ball at Drum in the Lower East Side in Manhattan. We had the extended large version of what ALBA can be at its best, with like horns, with voices, with percussion, drums, piano, bass, violin. The only person missing was Yakuba on the kora, the African harp. We had Baba Musa on the talking drum. Anyway, so it was like we've been focusing on that, and then we are setting up right now as we speak some sort of CD release concerts in other places, and then sort of taking that. A lot of musicians will say that if you don't have an album, it's a little difficult to to get things going in terms of booking venues and booking tour dates. But we have plans in store for Philadelphia, for Portland, Maine, and there is an interesting thing that happens with flamenco in the United States, which is that, flamenco, of course, comes from Spain, but it's sort of everywhere in the world. People get really hooked on the sounds of the guitar and the dancing and the singing, the energy and the sort of like spontaneity of flamenco. And so what happens is there are lots of different communities all around the United States and all the major cities that, have some version of a group of professionals or pre-professionals, and certainly a lot of dance students. And so, I do a lot of traveling to these places to sing for a lot of other dancers, and then there's something of a flamenco little community that you foster in order to keep going back and seeing these same people. And bringing new shows there. So we'll make the rounds to all of the major cities, hopefully within this next year. But we do have plans to go to Spain.
Very nice.
And and I'd love to move around Europe with the project. I think that Latin America has to be in the cards too.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of what we like, the love that we pour into ALBA has much to do with the lyrics. And interestingly, people who don't speak Spanish do pick up on like the essence of what I'm singing about. But people, you know, there's a whole layer of, you know, poetry that is kind of like an essential part, I think, of what the message of ALBA is. Like ALBA, what is dawn? It's when the sun comes back out after the darkness, and you get a new day, and you get a whole new beginning of something, and it's full of hope and wonder and surprise, and yet, like, you know, when you start a new day, you kind of remember what yesterday was like, and the day, and last year, and last week. And so the songs are really fun lyric wise. And so, yeah, Latin America and Spain have to be in the cards.
Yes, they would love it.
We're not limited to, you know, Spanish speakers.
Right, exactly.
With two of our musicians, with Yakuba and Baba, they are from Mali. And we even said that we could go do some gigs in Africa too. So that would be amazing.
Absolutely. Music is very healing, and music is a universal language, just like humor is. Music really is. And you guys are very aware of that, the depth of it, the soulfulness of it, what it does for people and leaves with people where they want more. It comes from the heart and the soul, and can really, you know, foster memories and make memories. And there's so much to it, right? I keep saying, gee, I hope in heaven there's music.
I think in hell there is not.
In hell there is not. That's for sure.
Someone told me that they are listening to ALBA Music. So,
in heaven?
Yeah, and
in hell.
In both.
I was going to say.
The album got both parts. So
maybe under the Hellgate Bridge, maybe on the East River in New York, but but in heaven, well, you know what it is? You could say it's a little piece of heaven on earth. There you go, right? Yeah. There you go. Now, I know it's you guys are in different locations. We're all in different locations here, thanks to the technology. Did you want to do a little something? I mentioned, you know, play a little music for us. Did you want to do a little something for all of our fabulous viewers who are watching, all the lovedies commenting? They already said you guys are both Jim Masters Show lovedies. How cool is that, huh?
Really cool.
Thank you.
Isn't that
great?
By
the way, Jim, congratulations on your 3rd anniversary.
Thank you very much.
You celebrated 3 years recently.
3 years and almost 1,000 episodes in just that time.
Wow.
That's a lot of lovity, huh?
Yes.
I've been seeing the comments. So someone even said, I love Barcelona. That was one of the comments.
Oh, yes. Barcelona. Absolutely right. Yeah, they do. It's a beautiful place.
I don't know how it's going to be in terms of the little delay. You hear me, Barbara?
Nice. Yeah.
Want to do Te Oro? Since we talked about Te Oro, yeah?
Yeah. Yo sé que soy un poco sensible con respecto a ti. sabes bien que es imposible ocultar. Hay tanto amor, siempre tomando dos caminos, cuando me quedo esperando la parada del tren, por si veo venir, si te veo venir por el andén, siempre tomando dos caminos contrarios, y yo me quedo esperando y en la parada del tren, por si veo venir, si te veo venir. Todas veces me enamoré de ti, la primera vez no había que mentir, la segunda vez nos perdimos en un juego loco de escondite, siempre tomando dos caminos contrarios, y yo me quedo esperando en la parada del tren, por si veo venir, si te veo venir por el andén, siempre tomando dos caminos contrarios, y yo me quedo esperando y en la parada del tren, por si veo venir, si te veo venir. Te oro, te oro, te oro, y te oro, te oro, te oro, te oro, te. Camarón que se duerme se lo lleva la corriente. Camarón que se duerme se lo lleva la corriente. Camarón que se duerme se lo lleva la corriente. Camarón que se duerme se lo lleva la corriente. ¡Olé! Siempre tomando dos caminos contrarios, y yo me quedo esperando y en la parada del tren, por si veo venir, si te veo venir por el andén, siempre tomando dos caminos contrarios, y yo me quedo esperando en la parada del tren, por si veo venir, si te veo venir. Camarón que se duerme se le lleva la corriente. Camarón que se duerme se le lleva la corriente. Camarón que se duerme se lo lleva la corriente.
Wow. And if our audience only knew, how you had to coordinate that because of she's in Greece and you're in the New York area, and any delay or anything, you guys are professionals. You know what you're doing under all circumstances. Bravo. That was terrific. Really nicely done, even, across the big pond.
There was a little bit of delay, but it's okay. It's what it is.
You wouldn't even really know. It just sounded so incredibly good. And a lot of our viewers, Merlin in Ontario, Canada, bravissimo, and Linda watching the United States is beautiful as well. All absolutely loving it. One of the great things too that makes any sort of grouping of people work is the admiration and respect you have for one another as people, but also for each other's talents and skill. And it's quite obvious that the two of you have that real fondness, admiration, and respect for one another, and appreciation for what each other brings to ALBA Music, right? That's essential.
Right. 100%.
Oh yeah, definitely, absolutely. And there's of course Alba is Albert and Barbara, and Bob, Alba Bob,
Huh.
but
Yeah.
but there's like we were talking about the extended family, and it's Gonzalo Grau, pianist from Venezuela, where I'm from, is has also been an important part of this, and he brings so much artfulness to this project and experience, and he's done a lot with Latin music, and also people like Jocelyn Vargas from Spain, who's had been a part of Ketama, one of my favorite groups of all time. They kind of blended, they were blending flamenco with pop music and Latin music like since the 80s, and also music from Africa, instrumentation from Northern Africa, Northwestern Africa. And then we have Ernesto Llorens from Alcoy, Alcoy. Ernesto is from Alcoy, the southeastern sort of corner of Spain, and he's another virtuoso. What can I say? Like when I mention these people, I'm mentioning them because it's like each one of them opens a whole world up for us, and our hearts are on our sleeves with these little babies that are our songs, and when people bring their perspective to something you've created, it's just like it opens up so many new possibilities, and then you see it in a new way. Also Arturo Soriano, also from Madrid, from Spain, he plays saxophones and flutes, and Maria Toro, also flutist from Spain, who studied a lot with I'm blanking on his name right now. ¿Quién es Albert?
What's that?
The master of flamenco flute, Jorge Pardo. Our friend who recorded is a disciple, I would say, of Jorge Pardo, although she sort of created her own space in the world that is jazz, flamenco and jazz and the flute. And Engin Günaydın from Turkey, badass drummer who makes everything super groovy in ways that you wouldn't even expect. These are the people who have made our little dream a reality.
It really does take a village, doesn't it, to have these people with you who really get the dream. They understand what it is you want to present and what it is you want to share with the world, and to have the support system of people like that, it really does take a village, right?
Yeah. It really does.
Yeah.
And it is a family.
It is, isn't it?
And the people who come to support us and to dance to our music and sing along, they're just as an important part, of ALBA.
Yeah.
Why do you both love this so much? What is it about? I know it's still in its infancy, but it's very exciting. You come from great backgrounds. You've been doing this for a long time. Now you've found this wonderful niche here, and you're knocking it out of the park. You got your first debut album. You're performing everywhere. It's quite exciting, and I know it's still fresh. But what do you have coming forward? What are some of the things that you would like to do with ALBA Musik going forward?
What do you say, Al?
I mean,
you're up,
right
Al.
Now, I'm really excited about these new songs that we have. And recording this new album. And so I'm gonna quote a phrase that our producer Bob, he always liked to say, that he says, "ALBA's train is unstoppable. I don't know who is driving it, but it's unstoppable." So I like to think that in that way too, because it's a combination of things that are just happening, and they're just happening naturally. It's not that I have to think, oh, what we do next. It's okay, we got this bunch of amazing new songs that we want to record. And I know probably once we finish those in 1 year, we're gonna be, oh shit, I got some more. Let's record them, and I don't know, just keep putting good music.
It was what it is, right? Exactly. Yeah.
I know that what we are doing have an amazing quality because each of us is a good musician, a good composer, a good artist. So you may like it more or less, but I know that the product has an amazing quality. So that makes me feel good.
Isn't that cool?
And
Yeah.
you know, Al was he was saying something earlier. The connection made you freeze for a moment, Albert. But you were starting to say that the next album, we have a name already. Actually, thanks to Bob, we have a name already, and it's sort of helps to answer the question that you just asked. And so Alma is ALMA, and in Spanish it means soul. It can also mean sort of spirit or even ghost. Some people can use it in, you know, depending on how you use it in the sentence. But you know, it's like some kind of essence that's hard, that you can't like just touch, but it's very profound. Because these next songs that are coming out are a little bit like, you know, at least some of them there's something more introspective and very emotional. So it seems right. It seems fitting.
That's fantastic. When you know it's right, you run with it, right? Yeah.
The thing that I wanted to say is that Alma, it stands for Al, my last name, Alabedra, and Ma Martinez. So Alma, Alba, Alma. So,
it's cool how that's working out, huh? And I'll throw my last name in. You are both masters of what you do. How's that, right? Little delay there, but a good one. So more music coming and venues to perform at, which is really exciting. And we'll keep a watch of it all. Congratulations on everything you have. But you know, the world needs to hear this music, these sounds. We need more things that make us feel good, that make us feel connected, that make us feel happy and soulful. You know, we've had a lot of unusual things we've been going through the last several years in all of our lives. And we're going in different directions where it seems like things are unraveling and nobody likes anybody and it's all crazy stuff. And to have this to enjoy, you know, and revel in, just really so good for the spirit and the soul and for the heart, and to bring people together. And that's what you guys are doing. You know, it's coming from the essence of who you individually and collectively are, which we are the beneficiaries of. So keep it up, gang. Really, Barbara and Albert, you put together something really unique and special, needed, and it's just getting started, which I think is so cool.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jim. That's beautiful.
The pleasure is all mine. Congratulations again on Dawn, and there's so much more music that's going to be coming. We look forward to it. We are going to keep the porch light on, as I say, for both of you. You're welcome back anytime you just want to chat or you want this positive vibe we have. I say we don't do interviews. These are conversations that we have here with our viewers watching around the world, interacting, and the lovities that are commenting. And we'll get together and see you guys real soon here in the New York area. And I hope you enjoyed the time with me as much as I absolutely have with both.
Loved it.
Yeah, so much. Yeah.
The pleasure was all mine.
Thanks for having us.
The pleasure is all mine. And Albert, thanks for creating on the spot that beautiful set that you have there. He was indoors, but the Wi-Fi wasn't working. So he grabbed the plants and the thing behind him and real quick.
The mosquitoes with me, I attracted them all.
You attracted them? Yes, exactly. Coming in from Canada here, Merlin says, this has been a beautiful conversation with you guys. Thank you for the song. Truly enjoyed it. And Maureen in Arizona saying you're both amazing artists. It's been a pleasure having you as Jim's special guest. Kathleen in New York City says wonderful. And of course, we got Bravissimo. And now that was sensational. And all the comments coming in live and many, many more. And don't forget, gang, you can comment afterwards underneath the episode on the YouTube channel. Give it a like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Takes a village. And we will continue to spread the word about you guys and spread the word about us. You know, other folks that like to pop on our show, they are absolutely welcome. And again, congratulations on everything. Folks, now the album, I mentioned Amazon, but is also on like iTunes and Spotify. They can go to all those.
All of the platforms.
Cool. That is great. Well, congratulations again, gang. And truly a blessing to have you with us here.
Okay, Jim.
Thank you. Take care, Jim.
You be well. You go get some rest now. Go to bed, Barbara. And Albert, you get some mosquito spray.
I'm going indoors now.
He's going inside. It's hot and humid in New York. All right. You take care. You be well. Thanks, Barbara.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye now. Ciao. And Albert, thank you as well. Take care. All right. How cool was that? Coming to us and to you from the United States and from Greece. Albert was in New York and the United States. And Barbara was in Greece, and it's a little after, it's almost midnight there where she is. They performed live, which can always be tricky when it's live. And, you know, you have somebody that's overseas, thousands of miles away, like Barbara was in Greece. And then you have somebody placed, you know, the other half placed somewhere else. But it worked. They're pros. They're very good at what they do. They are fantastic performers. That is ALBA Musik, and we're so happy to share them with you here on the Jim Masters Show Live. Maybe for the very, very first time, got a chance to hear a little of the music. That was just a tiny sample of what they do. They are really, really cool people. They love performing. They're consummate performers. And educators as well, which I think is a bonus to all of this, right? They have a good time together. They have a wonderful time with their audiences. And again, if you want to feel good, get the album Dawn. It's available now. You can get it on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, everywhere where music is. And this will either rekindle your appreciation of great music, and not just flamenco, as they mentioned. You know, they blend in other worlds, jazz and other elements of music into the mix, which I think is really super special. So you'll get something for everybody when you either attend one of their concerts or you pick up their music. So cool stuff. We thank them for joining us here on the Jim Masters Show Live series. Gang, that's ALBA Musik. You can also go to albamusic.com to learn more about them. If you enjoyed this episode, give it a like on our YouTube channel. Thumbs up. There's a big thumbs up there. Maybe not as sparkly and shiny as ours is here, but like, leave a comment for us, and be sure and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. And be sure and click the notification bell so you never miss any of our series and all these incredible episodes of the show. ALBA Musik, special guests. We appreciate Barbara and Albert joining us here and performing live for us on the show as well. We've had so many guests who've come through here on the program. As I mentioned, another incredible guitarist, English guitarist, finger style guitarist, and studio musician galore, Lawrence Juber, has been a guest on our show. He was in the group Wings with Paul McCartney, remember? And he had these words he wanted to share with all of us.
Hey, Lawrence Juber here with a shout out to Jim Masters on the occasion of the 3rd anniversary of his show. I really enjoyed the experience. It's great to work with an interviewer that knows their stuff, gets a good flow going. and just makes it a very enjoyable experience. So I hoped that we get an opportunity to do it again. But all the best to you on this anniversary. Cheers.
Cool. We appreciate him doing that. We also appreciate all of you for stopping by JMS. Yes, this was fantastic. Don't forget, if you want to support what we do, you can always do a super chat, super emoji, super sticker in the chat room. That helps us continue to grow and provide all this great content we deliver for all of you all the time. And also you can do it with super thanks. There's a super thanks icon on the YouTube channel as well. And you can do that 24/7. Like, comment, subscribe, all the rest. Kathleen in New York City says, thank you both for being here and for entertaining us. It was terrific. Merlin says, thanks. Albert also says, thanks for watching, everyone. Big thanks for having us, Jim. The pleasure is all mine. And from ALBA Musik themselves, thanks so much, Jim, and everyone for watching. Our pleasure. Barbara and Albert, we love you guys. We love you guys. And Merlin also saying, Albert, it was great to have you in Liberty Hall. Absolutely. Great show. Good stuff. You guys are terrific. Thanks for being with us, everybody. This was spectacular. Great music, great conversation. And Maureen says, you both are amazing artists. It's been a pleasure having you as Jim's special guest. Thank you so much, gang. If you love what we're doing here at the Jim Master Show Live series, check out the almost 1,000 episodes we have. You can binge watch and enjoy. We love having all of you here. Thanks so much for joining us on this episode. We don't say goodbye around here. We say hasta la vista. We say sayonara, shalom, slancha, moilup, hejda. We say take care, be well, cheerio, have a good day. Did I say sayonara? And again, one more time, we thank our very special friends, ALBA Musik, for joining us here live from Greece and from New York City. For all of us here, this is your host, Jim Masters, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time, stick with us. And Maureen throws in, how awesome was that song they shared? They are an incredible duo. Yes, they are. Linda Johnson says, great show, Jim. Thank you. The pleasure is all mine. We'll see you on the next one, folks, right here on the Jim Master Show Live series. Spread the word, share the links on your social media, tell everybody about our series. We love you guys who have been doing that. It means the world to us. Take care. We'll see you soon. Cheers.